Bryce, and welcome to the Talladega Super Speedway for today's Aaron's 499. Today's race should be very interesting. It's the second Super Speedway race of the season so far, and if we've learned anything from Daytona, this one should be just as crazy, if not crazier, than Daytona. But let's go ahead and check out the point standings before going into today's race, as Ryan Newman and Ricky Rudd have cracked the 1,000 point column very early on in the season, so they look to be championship threats. Zach is back up there in third, and he could be contending for the championship come season's end, as could Jeff Gordon and Kevin Harvick. But there's enough time left in the season, and Talladega is going to be the race where everything could flip on its head, and it might take a couple weeks for everyone to come back, depending on if they get caught up in that big crash. But let's go on ahead and jump into the starting lineup, the start of today's race. So to kick off this starting lineup here at the Talladega Super Speedway, in row number 1, we have Matt Kenseth, wins the pole yet again this season, with Jeff Gordon to his outside. Then in row number 2, you'll find Ryan Newman and Dale Earnhardt Jr. Row 3, we'll have Kevin Harvick and Jimmy Johnson. Row 4, it is Dale Jarrett and Tony Stewart. Row 5, Kurt Busch and Bobby Labonte. Row 6, Jeff Green and Bill Elliott, who still holds the track record here at the Talladega Super Speedway with a monstrous qualifying lap time. Then in row 7, you'll find Michael Waltrip and Jamie McMurray. Row 8, it is Ricky Rudd and Terry Labonte. Row 9 is Sterling Marlin and Jeff Burton. Row 10 will consist of Rusty Wallace and Elliott Sadler. Then in row 11, you'll find Tony Raines and Mark Martin. Row 12 is John Andretti and Johnny Benson. Almost got those two reversed. Row 13 is Greg Biffle and Todd Bodine. Row 14, Jerry Mayfield and Robbie Gordon. Row 15, it is Jerry Nadeau and Steve Park. Then in row 16, you'll find Dave Blaney and Ricky Craven. Row 17, it is Ken Schrader and Jimmy Spencer. Row 18, Larry Foyt, who makes his first start here at Talladega, and after taking a week off pretty much at Texas, he's back for this race, and Joe Nemechek. Row 19, it is Ward Byrne and Kenny Wallace. Row 20, the return of Mike Skinner, who missed the last 2 races, and to his outside, Jack Sprague. Then in row 21, you'll find Kyle Petty and Casey Mears. And rounding out the field in row 22, it is the rookie of Zachary Smithley. And then we have the D&Q list for today, which consists of Brett Bodine, Derek Cope, and Kevin LePage. Derek Cope almost made it into the show. He was just a few tenths off of Mike Skinner making it in. And Kevin LePage ended up having an issue before his qualifying lap, and really wasn't able to get a whole lot done. Wasn't really able to get both of his laps in today. And then a little bit of information here at Talladega. So the pit window should be around lap 27 to 33, with tires being around the end of the pit window, lap 31 to 33. But it also kind of depends on how well you take care of your tires, and if there's really even a need to come down pit road for a new set of tires. And then fuel will be lap 27 to 32. That'll be the big key factor to watch out for. And then one of the other things to watch out for is the big one. That has always struck here at the Talladega Super Speedway. And could there be a possibility of yet another new winner here at Talladega? I only say that because over the past few races, there has only been one repeat winner. And that has been the reigning Cup Series point leader since a while now, Ryan Newman in the 12th. So it could be a possibility that today can be the day that we could get a new winner here at the Talladega Super Speedway, but it all just kind of depends on how these drivers navigate this track, how they navigate the draft, and what to really look out for today, because finding your dancing partner is going to be a key factor. The other key factor is if you can maintain your position up at the front, and hopefully you're not one of the few people that can cause the big wreck if and when that happens. So it's going to be a lot of things to look out for here at Talladega. But in the case of Matt Kenseth and Jeff Gordon, they are in pretty much the good position right now. They're up at the front. Can they maintain being up at the front? We'll have to see. And these drivers, they're going to be vying for the bottom. So anytime a driver will make a move around the outside, they're going to go right to the inside, and they're going to stay there until someone else passes them and they want to go for the lead. So watch out for that. It'll kind of be the exact same thing as Daytona, if I do imagine. But I think now is the time to go on ahead and send it up to Mike Joy, Larry Mack, and DW for the 8th time, I believe, this season, to go on ahead and lead us to the green flag for the Aaron's 499 here at Talladega. Boys, take it away.
I think it's time.
Yeah, I see them coming.
Across the start-finish line here at Talladega, not in the middle of the tri-oval, all the way down, headed toward turn 1, DW. One more time, reach up there and pull those seat belts tight.
Everybody's on their feet. Let's go racing, boys. Boogity, boogity, boogity!
After the 2-lap silence here at Talladega, Dale Earnhardt Jr. has the lead, but he's got competition with Jimmy Johnson and Elliott Sadler to his outside. Dale Earnhardt Jr. is going to be the main man to beat here, and so will Jeff Gordon, the man behind him. Dale Earnhardt Jr., he's looking for 4 straight wins here at Talladega, but here comes Jimmy Johnson in the 48 with Tony Stewart behind him, but here comes Elliott Sadler with Mark Martin behind him. Mark Martin started all the way outside the top 20. He's already found his way up into the top 5. Mark Martin kind of found that outside and just kind of ran with it, and he's doing a really good job up there, but back at the front, Dale Jr. maintains the lead. There's a big gap that opened in between Kenseth and Gordon. Tony looks like he's going to close it for now, and Dale Jr. will keep the lead, as now that outside line is going to be pretty much morphing back into the middle. Johnson is all by his lonesome. Mark Martin is nowhere near him to try to help him. See Tony Stewart jumping to the outside. It looked like Kenseth might have wanted to go with him, but at the same time, he might have thought twice about it, so he decided to go right back in to the inside, leave Tony out to dry, and push Tony all the way back into the clutches of Jimmy Johnson, the 48 back there, and Mark Martin, Tony's championship competitor of last season. The bottom line has a lot of very talented super speedway drivers and a lot of very talented drivers in it, but so does the outside, as here comes Tony Stewart on Dale Earnhardt Jr. on the outside, pushed by Johnson. Is he going to be able to clear Jr. going into 1? He will, and he'll jump down right in front of Dale Jr. Nice execution from Tony Stewart. We're going to see that a lot today. We're going to see these drivers jump into the inside. Like we said before the race, these drivers are going to be vying for the bottom. As here comes Johnson back on the outside of Tony. But Tony does not look like he's going to just give it up that easily. Nice little shot down the back straightaway, which is pretty cool. Tony maintains in 3 and 4. You see Terry Labonte up on the outside, having Elliott Sadler and Bill Elliott maybe trying to reform the outside line, trying to make a third line. Here comes Junior, trying to make a move on Tony. He's going to get the help from Johnson in time, though. It might not look like it. Here comes Terry to the outside. Labonte goes to the front. Is he going to drop all the way down to the bottom from the outside? It doesn't look like he's not clear of Junior quite yet, but Junior's clear of Tony. So Junior drops down in front of Tony. Terry could drop down in front of his teammate Johnson, but Johnson's able to pull them back. and he's able to stay there. He's going to be able to maintain the position and bring Mark Martin closer to him. As right now, that outside line only has 3 cars. There you see Zachary in the 80 back there. He's trying to he's trying to be the 4th car in this pack on the outside. Looks like he's going to get close. He's going to get close to them. Might be too little too late. The momentum kind of shifted. So now it's going to go pretty much right back to the bottom and middle lines. See Zach back there tucking back in line, and that's good for him. It's a good call from him. All these drivers, they know when the right time to make a move is there. And they know when to go back in line if they're not able to make the move. There we go. But Dale Jr. maintaining the lead. Johnson side by side for the lead down the back straightaway. Nice little shot down the back. Almost had a nice one down into 3 and 4. We kind of switched cameras a little abruptly. You see Terry back on the outside of Johnson. That middle line has been stacking up a lot. As now it's going to allow the outside to reform again to get some form of momentum. Gordon's going to look in the middle. He's going to try to find his teammate. Junior's got Tony with him, but not only does he have Tony, he's got Kenseth and the current point leader, Ryan Newman, on the bottom. Gordon has found his teammate in Johnson. His other teammate, Terry Labonte's up on the outside, and Joe Nemechek is mired back in traffic. He is the 5th to last car in this lead group. So currently, right now, with Jeff Gordon, it's working, though, because his teammate Johnson's just going to push him right around the outside of Dale Jr. to grab the lead in 3. He's not clear of him, though, quite yet. Is he clear, though? Jr. has a little bit of momentum. Tony's going to try to come back. Gordon's still not going to be able to get to the inside. I don't think Johnson wants him to go to the inside. I think Johnson wants to stay with Jeff. So for now, Johnson and Gordon will stay hooked up together. Junior will stay on that inside with Tony behind. Gordon is going to try to maybe get another push from Johnson. I know Johnson may not want him to leave him quite yet, but if Gordon sees an opportunity to grab the lead, he's going to take it. And because there's a bit of a gap between Tony and Kenseth, that's going to allow Gordon around the outside, down the back straightaway. There goes Gordon to the bottom. We knew he would go to the inside if he was able to get if he was able to pass Dale Jr. in the corner or on the back straightaway. We knew he would do it. And here comes his teammate Johnson on the outside, gonna fight him for the lead. Hendrick 1-2 right now, and they're going side by side. Gordon's got Jr., Stewart, and Kenseth. Johnson has Martin and Labonte. He could have both Labonte brothers and Terry and Bobby, but they're not hooked up. Now they're getting a little bit hooked up, but it might be a little too late as the momentum on the inside has been carried all the way through 1 and 2. You see Bobby up there trying to maybe bring his brother to go with him. It looks like it worked. Does he have a run, though? Junior to the outside. Is he going to jump in front of Johnson? Johnson's actually going to move up even more in front of Labonte, the Labontes. And Junior has Mark Martin now behind him. Oh, Terry and Bobby look like they almost got together a little bit. They're kind of uneven up there on the outside. There you see Dale Jr. going back for the lead. Is he going to clear Gordon in the tri-oval? Barely eking ahead, but he's not going to be able to clear him enough before entering turn 1 and 2. So that'll get the lead right back to Gordon. Speaking of Johnson, he's up there by his lonesome, but here comes Terry, his teammate. Terry's trying to maybe get a little bit of a sniff of the draft in the middle to maybe get closer to Johnson, but it might not be enough. Johnson might just have to fade back a little bit. He may not want to, but that might be the best case scenario instead of continuing to lose more spots. Or Johnson can fight his way back up on the outside by himself because he's got no help from anybody because Terry's too far back from him. But Andretti and Zachary and a few others are actually catching Johnson now. Those few others are Jeremy Mayfield and Bobby Labonte. So the outside's formed again. Another checkup in the bottom line. A gap is formed in between Jarrett and Harvick. Got to keep an eye out for that. Battle for the lead up front is still heating up as Dale Jr. is going to be able to clear Gordon down the back stretch. Actually, he will because the inside's stacked up. So Junior jumps to the bottom, but that opens the door for Mark Martin on the outside to grab the lead. Here comes Martin. He's sort of in the outside the top 20, and 12 laps later, he's going to lead. But Junior has Gordon behind him, and Junior and Gordon currently in the modern day of NASCAR, at least in 2003, they're the two drivers to beat. So with the push from Gordon to Earnhardt Jr., Martin will lose the lead, and Junior will regain it back as they enter one. And Tony Stewart, maybe he might want to jump to the outside and maybe get a push from Mark Martin, or Kenseth might want to jump to the outside and get a push from his teammate, but Kenseth needs some space in order to do that. Unfortunately, Kenseth doesn't have any space to get a single push from Martin at all, as Martin's just kind of fighting up on the outside. Had a little helmet cam with Dale Jr. there. That was a little bit something. We've had that before, but very rare when we get one of those. Look at all these drivers. Not a single driver has been left out of the pack. They are all bunched up together. All the way back to Jack Sprague in that zero car. What a sight to see. So you can actually see there's a bit of a gap between Ryan Newman and Matt Kenseth. Michael Waltrip in the 15 fills that gap. And in doing so, it's going to allow the middle line to stack up. Because look at how far, much of a gap there is between Mark Martin and Elliott Sadler. Mark trying to hold Johnson back, but Johnson's got to run on the outside with his teammate. And he's got help from Tony Raines as well in the 74. Where did he come from? He's going to fight his way to the front. He's going to bring Andretti with him. He also might bring Zach with him. But the outside really isn't able to really get anywhere. They're kind of fighting the two guys in the middle, which are now Bill Elliott and Mark Martin. That's their main Achilles heel right now, is trying to fend those two drivers off. They might want to drop in line behind them, but it might not be possible. Dale Jr. and Jeff Gordon. It's kind of shocking that Gordon hasn't made a move for the lead at all. As you see, Terry actually, Johnson's teammate, actually slipped right into the bottom, or right into the middle line, leaving Johnson out there. So right now, Terry Labonte is in that middle line. He's brought Tony Raines with him. Johnson's back up on the outside by himself. Andretti in the 73s, also in the 43, excuse me, has left him out as well. Johnson's looking into the middle. There's actually a stack up, as Johnson's not going to be by himself, actually, as Zach's going to follow him. But at the front, Mark Martin gets a push from Terry Labonte and Bill Elliott to grab the lead for a little bit. Junior takes it right back. Junior still has the help from Gordon, but Martin has the help from Bill Elliott. He's got that push from him. The middle line needs to get a little bit more formed up if they want to have a shot at passing the Bud 8 car, which as of right now, it doesn't look like it's a good thing. They're not really able to make a move on him. You see Ryan Newman in the 12 in front of Zach. He's now a part of the middle line. There goes Sadler. You saw him back there go to the middle as well. Sadler's going to try to make a third line as Mark Martin is going to take the lead for a little bit. Junior's definitely going to fight back. Looks like Sadler's not going to be by himself, though, because Zachary, Tony Raines, and Kurt Busch are going to jump up there with him. Junior just slowly eking out ahead of the middle line. I think Gordon can jump to the outside and pass Dale Jr., but maybe because of the run that Martin gets halfway down the back straightaway, that's what forces Gordon's hand and pretty much forces him to not make that decision like he wants to. But Mark Martin gets an excellent run around the outside as the bottom actually stacked up a little bit. There's now a gap in between Junior and Gordon. Is Martin clear? He is clear. He'll jump to the inside. Here comes Bill Elliott on the outside with the two Hendrick teammates of Terry Labonte and Jimmy Johnson behind him, and Ryan Newman. Sadler might be left up there by himself. Zachary trying to figure out what line to run. He's trying to figure out any form of draft that he can get. As of right now, Bill Elliott kind of a little bit out ahead of Mark Martin. Another thing to worry about is we are coming up on the pit window, so a lot of these drivers, they gotta They got to pay attention to what's going on around them. As Mark Martin is able to get further out ahead in the lead. As that outside line now consists of Elliott Sadler and 3 rookies. Junior to the outside of Martin. But he's got no help. Here comes Terry and Johnson. And now Bill Elliott now leads that outside line. Now it's not just 3 rookies and a veteran driver, it's 2 veteran drivers and 3 rookies. There's a bit of an opening in the middle line, but it doesn't look like any of these drivers are going to be able to take it. Because they're not really able to get up there in time. Dale Jr. is going to take the lead for a split second, but here comes Bill Elliott with Elliott Sadler right behind him on the outside. Does Elliott drop in front of Jr. or does he stay on the outside? Mark Martin still getting the push from Gordon. Elliott's not dropping down in front of Jr. He might want Sadler to drop down with him. Maybe that's what he was trying to gun for. Well, there may have been a little bit of contact back there. We couldn't quite tell. But there's now a gap in between Newman and Johnson and Sadler and Zach. There may have been a little bit of contact between Zach and Newman or Zach and Johnson. It just depends. But now the outside line has pretty much been dismantled again. As now the only driver up on the outside is Bill Elliott. So now we're back to 2 lines, which is Mark Martin and Dale Earnhardt Jr. As actually the middle line actually had a huge stack up, as now Jr. and his drafting partner Terry Labonte are far back. Look at Zach up on the outside. He made the outside line work at Daytona. He's going to try to make it work again here at Talladega. And Mark Martin leads with Jeff Gordon behind him. Bill Elliott, Tony Raines, Jamie McMurray are going to follow Zach. Oh, Johnson looked like he may have wanted to jump to the outside, but he's a little too late. Zach's getting a nice run down the back straightaway with help from Bill Elliott in the 9. He might actually be able to get to the front in time, as he's going to be 3 wide for the lead between Mark Martin and Dale Earnhardt Jr. Look at Zach on the outside. The middle line is not formed up at all. Zach is trying to get that push from Bill Elliott. Here they come down the stretch. Mark Martin will maintain the lead. Zach's still trying to get that push from Bill Elliott in the 9. Junior got that push from the Hendrick teammate, so he's going to be able to jump right back out in front. They're going to go back to being 3 wide for the lead. Now more drivers are jumping to the outside. They have trust and faith in Zachary in the 80 up there. Zach's got the lead. Does he drop all the way down to the bottom? Maybe he wants Bill Elliott to go with him, but Bill can't clear Junior and Martin. Where does Zach go? Currently, he's in the middle. He's trying to get back up to the outside, but he can't. He's in the middle line in front of Dale Earnhardt Jr. and just to the side of Jeff Gordon, his team owner. What a race we've had so far. 22 now laps in. There we go. Now 22 laps in here at Talladega. Junior jumps back to the bottom. Zachary he found Bill Elliott again, but Bill is not dropping down into the middle line like he wants him to. Zach might just need to go with his Hendrick affiliate teammates and Terry Labonte and Jimmy Johnson. Now Bill Elliott drops down there, but it looks like he's going to go all the way to the bottom because there's a gap in between Junior and Stewart. So Zachary's idea of trying to have Bill Elliott did not work, but now he's got Terry Labonte in the 5 behind him. But now a 4th line has been formed by Bob Labonte in the 18, Greg Biffle in the 16, and it looks like Jimmy Spencer in the 7. You could obviously tell that Terry Labonte and Jimmy Johnson dropped down into the inside to get maybe to get around the 80 of Zachary, but so far right now it's not worked. Zachary is pulling them all back. Here comes Tony Raines in the 74 and Jamie McMurray in the 42. Who'd have thought that the middle line would be led by 3 rookies? But all 3 of them have been so good this season, and 2 of them have won a race this season. Zachary Rockingham and Jamie McMurray last time out of Texas. So now Zach is going to try to get back to the front. with help from his rookie of the year contenders. Zach jumps to the outside a little bit. He might be trying to get some air to Tony Raines' car so he doesn't have any issues with overheating. And there you see Zachary jumps to the front. He can't quite clear. He couldn't clear Martin. It looked like he could have cleared Martin going into one, but it was also a little bit difficult to tell from the camera angle if he could. But probably was a good idea he didn't bother clearing himself. That would have resulted in a bad accident. Here comes Jimmy Spencer on the outside in the Sirius XM Dodge for Ultra Everham Motorsports. He's got Joe Nemechek and Ricky Rudd. Spencer leads for a little bit, but Martin goes back out front. Zachary, who's found himself in the middle, trying to still get help from Tony Raines in the 74. There's a big gap between Gordon and Earnhardt Jr. And Zachary still maintains the lead with help from Raines. The main question is now, since we're coming up on pit stops, when do you pit? When will be the right time to pit? There you look at it, jumps to the outside, maybe to block the run coming from the outside that's led by Jimmy Spencer in the 7. Looks like Zach's just trying to maybe just block the lines from the looks of it. Looks like he succeeded. Now he's able to focus on Tony Raines, just pushing him to the front. There are some good cars up on that outside line that would have done wonders with that run if they were able to carry it, if Zach didn't jump in front of them. Zach is back out front. Who'd have thought that the outside, like I said before, would be led by 3 rookies, and those 3 rookies be fighting 3 veterans of the sport. And those 3 veterans being Mark Martin, Jeff Gordon, and Dale Earnhardt Jr. As now Zach looks to have the lead by a full car length, but he might want Tony Raines to drop down in front of Martin. They have the opportunity to do it. Oh, Zach wanted to go to the bottom, but Tony Raines didn't follow him. Raines didn't follow. So Zach's just going to go down there by his lonesome. Oh, but Zach's going to try to go back to the outside. It's too late. Zach probably should have stayed on the bottom with Mark Martin. Now he's going to go backwards. Raines is up to second. Martin back out front with 20 to go. And there goes Tony Raines. He jumps down right in front of Zachary again. Oh, they're getting squirrely. Look at Greg Biffle on the 16. He's now in this fight. Mark Martin is able to maintain a pretty solid lead. But Zach, who is pushing Tony Raines like his life depends on it, trying to push Tony Raines out front and into the lead. But Mark Martin just gets a better run in the center of the corner that just allows him to maintain the lead up at the front. Oh, little contact. More contact between the 2 rookies. It got a little squirrely as they head into the trial bowl coming to 19 laps to go. Contact made. Trouble. And the logo Zach and Big Murray. Crash behind him. It's the big one, Talladega. 2 cars upside down. One was Mike Skinner. The other one was Jeff Byrne. Earnhardt Jr. almost went upside down. It's the big one at Talladega. Multiple cars involved. Heavy damage for the 8 of Dale Jr. Damage to the 99 and the 2. Harvick is down there with a lot of damage, as is Skinner. Newman has damage. Zach obviously has got damage. He's all the way up at the front, though. There you see Nadu. He's got damage. Man, he was having a good run. There's McMurray with damage, and there's Zach. Let's ride on board and see what happens here. Ooh. Zach gave a little bit of a shot to Tony Raines in the 74. Maybe it's a way to push him to the front. Oh, wow. Yeah, I think Zach just wanted to try to side draft Tony Raines, and he may have gotten a little too close. Let's ride on board with Zach and see. There's the first bump. He definitely did not mean to do that. He lifted as he didn't want to keep it, as he didn't want to go to the outside. Oh yeah, he just got way too close to Tony Raines. Benson actually caught the wall a little bit, as did Johnson and wall trip, and Junior actually got a piece of it after making contact, after getting hit by Benson. So right on board with Dale Jr., see what he saw ahead of him. There's the initial bump. Looks like they made contact twice, actually. And when we were right on board with Zach, he didn't get touched the second time. There's the second contact. There's the hit. Oh, man. And Junior almost went upside down from that, too. So going ahead and right on board with Jamie McMurray in the 42. He was the one that was trying to get around Zach. Zach may have thought that McMurray was a little bit close to him, and maybe that's what started the whole thing, but or Zach may have just tried to side draft Tony Raines. It's kind of hard to tell. It may have been a mixture of both. So you see from Kurt Busch's angle, he's a little bit farther back, so we're going to see exactly how much carnage ensued in front. Oh, we got hit from behind. There you see Junior up ahead getting into the wall. There goes his front nose. Yeah, Junior took a hard lick. And we found out who was the one that actually slammed into Kurt Busch. It was actually his teammate, Jeff Burton. Let's right on board with him. Oh, man. He almost flipped upside down. Not once, but twice. And three times. He almost flipped upside down 3 times. Yeah, when just something like that happens, there's just, like, no time to react to it. And in the case of Jeff Burton and Kurt Busch, Kurt slowed down. Burton couldn't quite react in time and slammed to the back of his teammate. Oh, man. Imagine being Rusty Wallace and seeing a car flip over 3 times, or almost flip over 3 times in front of you. And we saw Nadu in front actually make contact with Jeff Burton, so we're going to ride on board with Nadu and see how he ended up hitting the 99. There's the crash. Oh, man. Dave Blaney actually pirouetted into a 360 and actually made it all the way around. Yeah, Kevin Harvick, he got a willable hit right there. Let's ride on board with Dave Blaney, as he was the one that just kind of pirouetted around the full 360. Let's see what happens. Maybe we'll see what happens to Harvick at the same time. Nah, we weren't really able to see it, but yeah, full 360 for Dave Blaney. Nice little save, and he kept it going. He might have a little bit of damage, but it might not be too bad for him to warrant a repair. On board with Steve Park now in the 1. This is farther back, but this is where a lot more of the wreck ended up ensuing. Oh my God! And Mike Skinner, did y'all just see that? Mike Skinner just flipped upside down and kept going. He's still going. Let's ride on board with Ryan Newman, though, as he was the one that saw all, as this is a camera angle that sees everything that unfolded behind. Oh my gosh. Yeah, and Mike Skinner in the 4 over there on the right-hand side just flipped upside down and kept going. What in the world? Oh my, and he's still rolling. He ain't stopping. Let's ride on board with Mike Skinner. Doing a flip and still going, Dale Earnhardt style. Upside down. Lands on all 4 and keeps going. That has to be the most craziest thing I've ever seen. So let's see from the light gear blip and see exactly if we can... And we might be able to see all the wrecks. You see up at the front, the initial contact between Zach and Raines. Now, was Zach trying to make a move on Tony, but McMurray was close? From the looks of it, Zach may have actually been far away enough from McMurray if he went to the outside to still make the move. I just think he may have overreacted a little bit and maybe kind of tried to side draft Tony Raines in that case, trying to make it 4 wide, maybe. It just... That's from the looks of it. This is going to be a hard hit. Oh! Jack Sprague in the 0 actually caught a piece of that too, as you saw. But yeah, when a wreck is happening at over 190, pretty much 200 miles an hour, you don't really know what to expect, and one mistake can end up costing you a whole lot, and In this case, it costed a lot of drivers. Maybe except for Mike Skinner, as he just kept going. He may have ended up getting a fast repair, though, just to fix his car up and keep her going. Man. So after that crazy turn of events, we're now back live here at Talladega after watching all those replays. And Jeff Gordon is back out front with Bill Elliott in second, Mark Martin in third, Greg Biffle fourth, and Tony Raines in fifth. And there you see Zachary in the 80. He came over the radio when we were watching all the replays, and he said he definitely feels bad. He felt like he made the wrong move on both McMurray and Raines, which caused the whole thing. So Zach is definitely not proud of himself of what he did. We'll just kind of have to see if these drivers might give him a little bit of a leeway. It just depends, really. But Zach at Daytona, he did pretty well, and he wasn't the aggressor. I mean, at points, Zach was the aggressor at Daytona, but not this time around. Or this time around, he was as well. But the other question is now for Zach is, can Zachary, within 16 laps, win this race? For all that you don't know, it's been 2 years since Zachary's grandmother had passed away. And Zach wants to win here at Talladega, and he wants to do it in honor of her, which is another reason why the first 2 laps were done in silence. But here we go. The final 15 laps here at Talladega. Everybody made a pit stop. Everyone's got fresh tires, full tank of fuel, and 15 laps to settle it. As the pace car will peel down, and these drivers are going to get racy. Dale Jr., Kevin Harvick, Elliott Sadler, Steve Park, and Rusty Wallace all got fast repairs. They're a lap down. Green flag is back out. Gordon goes, but Bill Elliott doesn't. It's shades of Bristol. It is shades of Bristol, where Johnson ended up winning at Bristol from the same thing. Now they get on going, but it might be too late. Gordon is pretty much up to speed, but all these drivers behind are not. There you see Gordon, he's actually leading the lap cars. Oh, but Junior and Harvick, they're actually going to the outside. They're not going for the lead or anything, but Gordon is actually by himself. Gordon has zero help. He's got no draft. Here comes this second pack of cars. It takes around a full lap to get back up to speed here at Talladega, and this second group is led by second place driver Mark Martin in the 6. He's now back up front. Gordon has a little bit of drafting help from Park and Wallace. As you see, actually Bobby Labonte, Kurt Busch, and it looks like Jamie McMurray actually peeling off down pit road. Thought everybody might have gotten a full tank of fuel in, but it seems like those 3 did not. As you can tell, back up front, Gordon has the help from Steve Park and Rusty Wallace still on the outside. There's that second pack of cars. They might be coming at a full head of steam here soon. With them being 3 wide, it might take a little bit longer as all these drivers, they want to be the first car to be the leader. They want to lead this pack because they know if they get to Jeff Gordon in time, they're going to be able to pass him. They know they're going to be able to pass Jeff Gordon if they get to him. Every single one of these drivers knows they can. They're carrying more momentum than Jeff Gordon is. There are more cars in this pack than there is with Jeff Gordon's pack. There's only 6 in Gordon's pack. There's like around 20 almost in this pack. And then you have about 8 or 9 cars behind him that are not a part of the pack. But you see back up front, Jeff Gordon, he's still maintaining his position. He's still got help from Rusty. But the gap from him to this pack is actually shrinking ever so slightly. Jeff Gordon is trying to do what his teammate Jimmy Johnson did 2 weeks ago at Bristol. As now you see actually Dale Jr., he jumped in behind Jeff Gordon. Gordon actually might be all right. So because of that, this second pack of cars, they're actually going to have to catch Gordon by not being 3 wide. They're going to have to go single file or 2 wide and catch Gordon that way. But they're still 3 wide. See, there's only 2 cars back there that haven't caught this pack. It's Jeff Byrne and Jack Sprague. As even though there are 3 lines, and currently right now, Biffle's leading the middle, Martin's leading the bottom, and Tony's leading the outside, this might not be enough. They need to get into a only just 1 or 2 lines to catch Gordon. It's not to say that these 3 lines are not catching him, because they still are. The problem is, though, is that it's a very slow process, a very slow progress, I should say, up to Gordon, who's now off of turn 4 and almost entering the tri-oval. Now he's entered the tri-oval. The pack of cars just left turn 3. They're heading to the tri-oval. Gordon's exiting the tri-oval. They're about a tri-oval away from each other. As Gordon now leads the outside with Dale Jr. behind him, but he's got 4 cars behind him. And he's got this entire pack that's catching him. It is still led by Mark Martin. Michael Waltrip in the 15 trying to make a 4th line. I think Gordon actually up there on the outside was all by his lonesome. I think they're trying to shuffle Gordon out. Wait, Steve Parker Jr. trying to shuffle Gordon out. Junior and Parker back to the bottom. At least Park was for the time being. He tried to get in front of Harvick. He was clear. Saller's trying to get around Rusty. This is hurting Gordon. Gordon has no help. 10 laps to go at Talladega. There's the pack. There they are. They're nearing. But they're still not getting close as they want to. They're not getting as close as fast as they want. They gotta get into only 2 lines if they want to catch Gordon. Gordon is the last car in this pack. Junior and Park shuffled him out. Elliott Sadler's up on the outside by his lonesome. Gordon didn't bother going with him. Park might actually try to have Sadler get in front of him, but it doesn't look like it's going to happen. What in the world is going on? As speaking of Gordon's teammate, Johnson, he's actually leading the outside now with Joe Nemechek. And Zachary in the 80, his driver. But Tony leads the bottom, so Tony right now is 2nd place. As now in Gordon's pack, he's the last car in line on the bottom. And then there's the 2 cars of Junior and Sadler. They're slow. This pack of cars is slowly catching Jeff Gordon. Every lap, they are slowly catching him. They can fight it out for positions, but the more that they do this, the more that Gordon can get away. They're back being 3 wide with Johnson and Nemechek up on the outside. They might actually be trying to do this to help Gordon. Gordon is trying to win for the first time this season, and Gordon might actually get away with it. But that's if his teammates are actually going to help him. 8 to go. You see Tony Stewart still maintaining the inside, still trying to get them to the front. The inside and middle really need the outside line to break apart. They need them to get back in, to get them into both lines. I know they may not want this, but they may need both lines to check up a little bit to make that outside line go back to the bottom and middle. As Gordon is slowly getting away now. And there is absolutely nothing that these drivers can do about it. They are trying everything they possibly can to do something. Gordon has Steve Park in front of him, but is that going to be enough as they now have 7 laps? They're kind of getting single file now. There's just 3 cars left on that outside. Nemechek, Zachary, and Waltrip. I think if the front of the 2 lines just don't have anybody in front of them or to the outside of them, they might be able to get to them. As actually now, Junior, Harvick, and Rusty are 3 wide. Now they're 3 wide with Gordon. They're about to be 3 wide with Sadler. If any of these 3 actually go far back enough into the clutches of this pack's going to catch them fast. Zach went to the bottom. So did Waltrip, but I think they're going to try to bring Nemechek with. There they go. They're back. They're 2 by 2 now. The only 3 drivers that are 3 wide are at the back of the pack. They don't need to worry. Oh, they broke it up. They broke up at the front. Jeff's in the middle. He's trying to side draft Dale Jr. not for the lead, but trying to be the lead car maybe. Here comes Sadler. He thought about it. He went back behind Harvick. What does Rusty and Park do? It may not matter what they need to do. Here comes that pack of cars, led by Mark Martin in the 6. They got 2x2, and that's all they needed to do. Here they come. Gordon's got competition now. Look at Biffle on the outside in the 16 with help from Robbie Gordon. Jeff Gordon is now in trouble. Will Steve Park help push him? Park goes to the outside. Tony's now behind Gordon. Rusty's gonna get out of the way of Mark Martin, it looks like. Does Park get out of the way of Martin, though? He doesn't look like he will. Gordon jumps to the outside. That was a mistake, I think. He jumped right back to the inside. He maintained the position. Oh my God, look at the outside right there. Look at the pack of cars. They're so stacked up back there. But Gordon jumped back to the outside. Tony's now on the bottom. He's got pushed from Bill Elliott. Elliott went to Gordon. Stewart's out front. And they dropped him right behind Tony. It's all changed for Gordon. But Sadler's now going to the outside. Gordon's going to follow. Can Gordon grab the lead back? He can't. Tony's getting the draft from Harvick. Tony Raines, he's going to try to help Gordon. Can Gordon get back out front? He can. But Tony's still fighting, but Gordon is still leading. They're coming into the final 3 laps. Gordon, Raines, Biffle, Robbie Gordon, Tony Stewart, the top 5. 3 laps to go. Raines is by himself on the outside. Here comes Biffle taking advantage of it. Look at the run that Zach's getting in the 80. He gets right to the back bumper of Tony Raines. Is Raines slow, though, for Zach? Raines might be too slow. It's not going to be enough, though. Zach may have made the wrong choice. As now, Gordon, with the help of Biffle and Robbie Gordon, trying to get in front of Elliott Sadler, trying to be the first car in front of this pack. Gordon is trying everything he can to win here at Talladega. But fending off Biffle is going to be his biggest challenge yet. Zach trying to make that third line work. Oh, there's a slow car. There is a slow car down the back straightaway. We can't quite tell who that is. That might be Top Bodine. That is Top Bodine. If Gordon is smart, he won't pick the bottom. I think Gordon went to the bottom. Gordon went to the inside. Bodine's on the inside. The inside stacked up. Greg Biffle's out front of Talladega with Robbie Gordon behind him. Mayfield and Zach are with him. It's now a 4-car race for the win. Robbie Gordon is going for the lead. Zach's going to the outside. They're 3 wide for the lead. Coming to the white flag at Talladega. Zach leads at the white. But it's Biffle on the inside. They have no help. Greg Biffle trying to win for the first time in his Cup career. Zachary trying to win for the 2nd time. And trying to do it for his grandmother. Here comes Gordon. Zach goes with Robbie. But Robbie wants to pass Zach. Zach's having none of it. He goes in front of Kyle Petty in the 45. Zach is barely out front. Johnson's all the way on the outside, making a 4th line. But Biffle's fighting back in the 16. Out of turn 4 and into the first straightaway. Zachary gets the advantage. But Biffle's coming back. Zachary trying to slide draft Biffle. They make contact. Into the wall they go again. At the line. Biffle wins at Talladega. Greg Biffle, in an amazing finish at Talladega, wins for the first time in his career. Oh my God. What a last lap. What a final few laps here at Talladega. And a massive, massive heartbreak for Zach, as he came oh so close. And even though Zachary might be hurt, Gray Biffle is happy. He is smiling. He is thrilled. He just won his first ever Winston Cup Series race. Congratulations to Gray Biffle and the entire Roush Racing team. Yet another new winner. A third rookie gets the job done this season. Zach at Rockingham, McMurray last time out of Texas, and now Gray Biffle today here at Talladega. As here are the finishing results. Biffle with the win. Kyle Petty finishes second. Tony Raines' best career finish in third. Dale Jarrett in fourth. Jeremy Mayfield in fifth. Zachary Smithley in sixth. Kenny Wallace in seventh. Robbie Gorman with his best finish of the season in eighth. Michael Waltrip in ninth. And Jeff Green back inside the top 10. Then Jimmy Spencer in 11th with his best finish of the season. Jimmy Johnson 12th. Jack Sprague 13th with his best career finish so far. Mears in 14th. Jeff Gordon at 15th. Ricky Rudd 16th. Jerry Nadeau 17th. Johnny Benson 18th. Ricky Craven 19th. And Tony Stewart rounds out the top 20. And then you have Sterling Marlin in 21st. Joe Nemechek 22nd. Warburton in 23rd. Bill Elliott in 24th. Jeff Burton 25th. Ryan Newman in 26th. Andretti 27th. Dave Blaney in 28th. Ken Schrader 29th. And Mike Skinner, in his first race back after missing the last two races, finishes in 30th. And then we have Mark Martin at 31st, Larry Foyt in 32nd, Matt Kens at 33rd, Terry Labonte 34th, Kurt Busch 35th, Bobby Labonte 36th, Jamie McMurray 37th, Todd Bodine 38th, Rusty Wilson 39th, and Steve Park in 40th. Todd Bodine, he was the main player that decided the outcome of this race. And then we have Elliott Sadler 41st, Kevin Harvick at 42nd, and Dale Earnhardt Jr. finishes in last. And he unfortunately will not go 4 in a row here at Talladega. Whew. I need to catch my breath. That was amazing. That was the best race I think we've had so far, play-by-play wise here, of this series. There's no doubt in my mind that that was the best race that I think we've ever had leading up to this point. But now, because after this best race here of the season so far, let's take a look at the updated point standings. So, Ryan Newman maintains the point lead ahead of Ricky Rudd in second. Zachary Smithley has now cracked the 1,000 point column in third, as has Jeff Gordon in fourth and Bill Elliott in fifth. Jimmy Johnson has almost cracked the 1,000 point column in sixth. Kevin Harvick is 7th, Matt Kenseth in 8th, Kurt Busch in 9th, and Michael Waltrip remains in 10th. Then you got Dale Jarrett in 11th, Jeff Green in 12th, Tony Stewart in 13th, Jeff Burton 14th, Andretti in 15th, McMurray 16th, Sadler 17th, Mayfield 18th, Wallace in 19th, and Mark Martin in 20th. As Bobby Labonte 21st, Rusty Wallace 22nd, Johnny Benson in 23rd, Kyle Petty 24th, Ricky Craven 25th, Dale Earnhardt Jr. 26th, Gray Biffle 27th, Tony Raines in 28th, Sterling Marlin in 29th, and Steve Park in 30th. Then it's Joe Nemechek 31st, Dave Blaney 32nd, Todd Bodine 33rd, Warburton in 34th, and Terry Labonte in 35th. And from 36 on down, they are the go or go homers. And Casey Mears 36th, Nadeau 37th, Robbie Gordon 38th, Larry Ford in 39th, and Ken Schrader in 40th. And Jack Sprague 41st, Spencer 42nd, Mike Skinner 43rd. And then Casey Atwood 44th, Kerry Arnold 45th, Mike Wallace in 42nd, Scott Pruitt 42nd, Sean Mardine 48th, Fittipaldi in 49th, Buck Schott in 50th, Brett Bodine in 51st, and Hermie Sadler in 52nd. So a lot of interesting things going on in the point standings, as now we are going to see who are going to be the title contenders for the remainder of the season, which I think we know are 5, but we'll find out in the next race at the Virginia 500 at Martinsville. Should be a lot of fun. It'll be the second short track race of the season. It'll be the second race that'll feature 125 laps. So it should be quite a lot of fun around Martinsville. It's also a flat track, so things are going to be different from Talladega compared to Martinsville. So that should, like I said, should be pretty interesting. It should be lots and lots of fun. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you guys did enjoy, leave a like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell below for some more. I will see you all next time at the Martinsville Speedway for yet another short track race on the season. Hope you guys enjoyed. I will see you all in the next one. Have a great day, everyone. I love y'all oh so very much. Hopefully y'all had just as much, found this race just as exciting as I did. Thank you guys so much. I'll see you on the next one. Have a great day, everyone. I love y'all, and goodbye.